Good evening. I'm Danielle Catalan.
And I'm Elisa Herrero Martinez, and this is Project Easy News.
We would like to apologize for our absence of video on Thursday. We've decided to make our videos once a week on Sundays now instead of twice a week. Thank you for understanding.
When there's a big news story, we will post it on our Facebook and Twitter page.
Again, thanks, and let's get started.
Today we will begin with international affairs.
The state of Syria is deteriorating under Bashar al-Assad's rule. On Monday, the United States closed the U.S. Embassy in Syria after Russia and China vetoed the UN's resolution for peace. Tuesday, the Russian foreign minister visited Syria and tried to convince the public that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad was committed to ending the violence in Syria. On Wednesday, a day after the Russian foreign minister's announcement, at least 47 people were killed in the Syrian city of Homs by government troops. The dead included 20 members of unarmed families. Those who are wounded by government troops are forced to go to makeshift clinics because the rockets struck one of the two hospitals, and the other was taken over by President Bashar al-Assad's forces. They do not have the proper resources to help the wounded. Since the protests began a year ago, it has been estimated that between 6,000 and 7,000 people have been killed, including innocent children and unarmed citizens. Currently, the Syrian government is using detained civilians as human shields and are placing them on tanks in the city of Homs to prevent the opposition Free Syrian Army from fighting back. Today, Russia has accepted the UN proposal. According to the foreign minister, the Arab League will impose unprecedented sanctions on Syria. The strike in Israel has been called off after Israeli labor leaders and government officials reached an agreement today. The 4-day strike was designed to improve the employment conditions for workers in various sectors. It affected the Israeli airports, railways, hospitals, banks, and government ministries. Israel's trade union organization and the Ministry of Finance negotiated a deal that raises monthly wages and social benefits for thousands of Israeli workers. Previously, there was a tentative deal with an employers' organization to allow more subcontracted workers to become full-time employees. However, no final agreement could be reached before the strike. Greek political leaders have been meeting all week to produce an agreement on austerity reforms to avoid a default. Prime Minister Luka Papademos and other Greek political leaders are drafting reforms with the objectives to cut public spending, include layoffs, and to reduce the minimum wage and pension reforms. This is all being done to avoid a default. If Greece does not finalize the austerity program soon, they will not have paved the way for a second bailout of 130 billion euros from the EU, European Central Bank, and IMF. Without this bailout, Greece could miss a 14.5 billion euro bond redemption in March. Greek citizens are angered by the parliament's incapability to reach an agreement and have been protesting outside the parliament building. Today, Greek police turned tear gas and stun grenades on the protesters who were hurling stones at the building. Additionally, several buildings in Athens were ablaze because of the protest. Members of parliament are expected to vote later today on the measures. The Prime Minister expects social explosion, chaos, if this is not fixed. In southern Sudan, the world's newest nation, at least 37 people were killed on Saturday during a shootout in an attempt to resolve cattle disputes. There have been many cattle raids, which usually end with violent killings and child abductions, with most of the victims being women and children. A raid resulted in thousands of cattle stolen and 74 killed. In late December, more than 3,000 people were killed. Gadhafi's son, Saadi Gadhafi, has been placed under house arrest in Niger. Saadi has been in Niger since the collapse of his father's regime. Niger granted him asylum, saying that he should be treated like any other Libyan refugee, but Libya's National Transitional Council demanded his extradition. At one time, Saadi Gadhafi was a respectable businessman and head of Libya's NFL. The Libyan government, however, accused him of misappropriating properties through force and armed intimidation. The multinational police agency, Interpol, issued a red notice calling for his arrest in September. Egypt announced that 43 foreigners working for civil society organizations would face prosecution, including 16 Americans. One of these Americans is Sam LaHood, the son of Ray LaHood, the U.S. Transportation Secretary. The Egyptians say that these pro-democracy organizations have been receiving illegal foreign financing and did not have proper licenses. However, some of these groups have been operating in Egypt for years, even under Mubarak. The State Department spokeswoman, Victoria Nuland, explained that these groups targeted did not fund candidates or parties, and there has been nothing new in their activities. Time will tell how the American-Egyptian alliance changes. For right now, though, Washington threatened to cut off more than $1.3 billion in military aid that was intended to help Egypt's progress in transitioning to a democracy. Now let's look at what's happening in the United States. A study has been conducted and published in the book Wither Opportunity, showing that the education gap between the poor and the rich is widening. The cause of this is said to be tectonic, a result of the social and economic process unfolding over many decades. The study was concluded in 2007 to 2008, before the recession really hit, so it's been predicted that the gap is probably even wider now. Some economists, like James J. Heckman, say that the culture the child is put in, along with his or her parents, has more to do with the child's ability to succeed than financial problems. Whether or not the government should address it as an issue of poverty or a growing social problem is the debate among many sociologists and economists at the moment. However, the issue of the difference of income between the rich and the poor has been a heated issue with President Obama and the GOP candidates. Congressional Republicans and a few Democrats are fighting against the health insurance law by the Obama administration in which health insurance plans provided by Catholic universities and charities to offer free birth control is required. Democrats and policy supporters in Washington argue that it is both an issue of women's rights, while Republicans argue that it is one of religious freedom. Senator Marco Rubio from Florida openly expressed in English and Spanish that he has created a new bill that will allow organizations to opt out of producing contraception. Senator Bob Casey of Pennsylvania also put out a statement in opposition to Obama's requirement in the bill, along with Representative Daniel Lipinski, Democrat of Illinois. The White House, who does not want to back down, appeared Wednesday saying, "We want to work with all these organizations to help implement this policy in a way that is as sensitive to their concerns as possible. But let's be clear, we are committed, the President is committed, to ensuring that women have access to contraception without paying any extra costs, no matter where they work." In politics this week, Rick Santorum won the Missouri, Minnesota, and Colorado primaries. After his big win, he received $1 million of donations in 24 hours, 800,000 of it coming from online. Santorum declared himself as Mitt Romney's biggest competitor, saying it is now a two-person race. Mitt Romney won the main caucuses yesterday. Whitney Houston, a music legend, died at age 48. She was found dead on Saturday by her bodyguard on the 4th floor of an upscale Beverly Hills hotel. Hours later, she was planning on attending a pre-Grammy party hosted by her longtime mentor, Clive Davis. The details of how Whitney died have yet to be confirmed. She has been singing since her childhood when she was in her church choir, and ever since then, she has touched millions of people's lives with her beautiful voice. CIA website affiliates Mexico's mining ministry and the state of Alabama were down Friday due to hackers. A Twitter page and Tumblr feed associated with the hacking group Anonymous posted a message celebrating that the website had been taken down. When asked about the outage of the website, Jennifer Youngblood, a spokeswoman for the CIA, stated that the CIA is aware of the problems accessing our website and are working to resolve them. Anonymous's signature tagline stated that the hacking was in response to recent racist legislation, an attempt to punish immigrants as criminals. It is referring to the legislation in Alabama that was signed last June aimed at cracking down on illegal immigration. State technology experts are running an analysis to determine what, if any, information has been compromised. The Twitter page also provided links, messages, and other files tied to Mexico's mining ministry. It later added on the same feed a reminder to the media that just because they report a hack doesn't mean that they did it.
Thanks for watching our broadcast today. It really means a lot. Please remember to follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page.
Just so you guys know, the Facebook event was created so that we can message out videos to you guys every week reminding you to watch the videos.
If you liked our video, please share it with your friends and family. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Bye!